this particular program is especially important because we have so many people who can't afford an attorney in this community.
Courts in Meigs, Jackson, and Athens County are getting thousands of dollars to spend on much-needed upgrades. Plus, history is being made. The Senate hears opening arguments in the impeachment trial of President Trump. And in sports, Ohio quarterback Nathan Rourke is described with words like leader, captain, and teammate. How OU is remembering his career with the Bobcats. Newswatch starts right now.
And coming up next, our reporters break down all of the other initiatives that will be on the ballot in Athens County.
Plus, Nelsonville voters will decide on a cannabis ordinance. This special election edition of Newswatch will be right back.
Hi there, I'm Joseph Hennessy, and coming up in sports after the break, I'll talk about some high school basketball playoff games. Plus, WOUB Sports Director Thomas Garvick joins us live at the Convocation Center.
Hey Joe, we're just minutes away from tip-off here inside the Convo. The Ohio women's basketball team getting set to battle Toledo at the top of the hour. When Newswatch returns, I'll set the scene for you. But first, make sure you stay tuned with us here at WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
It's off to the races. Early voting is starting in Ohio, while election officials are anticipating a high turnout. Plus, there has only been one African-American attorney to practice in Athens County, ever. How middle school students are giving him the recognition he deserves. And in sports, the Ohio women's basketball team is taking on Toledo. We are live in the Convo with a preview of the game. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening and welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. I'm Spencer Charlton. Thank you for joining us. Early voting is underway in Ohio today. It was the first day voters could cast their ballot in the primary elections. The polls were open today until 5 p.m. and will be open for early voting until March 16th. Voters will decide on not only the Democratic presidential nominee, but also several local county races, including state representative, county commissioner, and sheriff. Athens Board of Elections Deputy Director Penny Brooks says she's expecting a high turnout.
Election and what's on the ballot, we assume that there's going to be quite a few coming through our office to vote.
WOUB will be keeping up to date on all the issues voters will be deciding on, as well as Election Day coverage on March 17th. So follow us on Twitter and Instagram at outlet_WOUB for the latest. And voters in West Virginia have a lot of candidates to sort through before Election Day. The Secretary of State's office says it has certified a large slate of candidates, including 18 for president and 12 for governor. This is the largest race for the governor since 2004, when there were 18 candidates. And nationally, the Democratic candidates for president are going to be on the debate stage tonight in Nevada ahead of the caucuses there this weekend. This will be the 9th Democratic debate. 6 candidates are slated to be on stage, including Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar, Pete Buttigieg, Bernie Sanders, Mike Bloomberg, and this will be Bloomberg's first appearance on the debate stage. But he won't be receiving a warm welcome from his Democratic rivals.
Here worth $60 billion. You can run for president.
I actually thought he should be on the debate stage because I don't think you should just be able to buy your way to the presidency.
You can watch the debate tonight at 9 p.m. on NBC or MSNBC. Now, let's take our first look at your local weather with Michaela.
Today in Athens, we saw those temperatures rise up towards 50 degrees, But as we're looking right now, we're seeing 35 degrees in Athens, partly cloudy conditions, and it is a little bit cool outside with those winds coming out of the north-northwest at 3 miles an hour. Taking a look across the region right now, we're seeing those temperatures in the lower to upper 30s for most of the viewing area. We're seeing 35 over in Chillicothe. Over in New Martinsville, we're seeing 33 degrees, and down in Ironton, we are seeing 39 degrees as our hotspot for current conditions right now. It's really nice to be able to put away that umbrella for the evening hours, as we have seen the temperatures drop the past couple of days with that rain coming into the forecast. But as we look right now, we're seeing those partly cloudy conditions, as I said. So it will be a very nice evening outside if you are planning on going outside this evening at any point. Now, Spencer, like I said, those umbrellas are put away for right now, but for the next couple of days, we might need to bring them back out.
Well, I think it's just great that today specifically we're able to escape some of the colder, rainier weather we had and experience, one one of the first few days of spring that we hopefully will be seeing down the line. Thanks, Michaela. A newly formed conservative group is working to end the death penalty in Ohio. Ohio conservatives concerned about the death penalty is part of a network of similar groups nationwide. Members say it is inconsistent with pro-life views, is too expensive, and call it a failed government policy. There are 35 Ohioans who've signed on to the group, but only 3 are current office holders who could vote on a repeal. Ohio lawmakers are trying to make it easier to report potential wage discrimination. House Democrats support the idea of an anonymous hotline. The bill that would make this a reality was heard in committee last year, but didn't make it any further. It would make it easier for people to file the complaint online or on the phone. But business groups are opposing the bill, calling it unnecessary. Students at Ohio University will now pay even more for health insurance. OU's insurance has increased by 14%. This is after a more than 25% increase in the 2019 and 2020 academic year. Graduate Student Senate invited a United Health Insurance representative and OU Student Health Insurance Administrator to talk to students about the reasons behind the increase last night. At the meeting, students expressed their frustrations, saying higher rates affect their livelihood and that they didn't feel like they got their questions answered. Graduate Student Senate started a petition to limit insurance increases, and it now has over 200 signatures. You've probably never heard of Andrew Jackson Davison, and that's the problem. He did a lot of work here in the Athens County. Now, some Athens middle school students are giving people the opportunity to learn more about him when they come to the courthouse. Andrew Jackson Davison Club hung a portrait of Davison this afternoon in courtroom A of the Athens County Courthouse. Members of the club say it was exciting to finally see it all come together.
So it's really exciting, just so that, well, we displayed it yesterday and showed the community, but now that it'll be like on the wall next to the composite that he was excluded from, it's just really exciting.
WOUB reporter Andrea Robinson has more about how the club formed and how this project came to be.
It's been a long time coming.
Athens resident Otis Cochran may have said it best. It's been a long time coming. Once an Alabama slave, Andrew Jackson Davison came to Ohio after the Civil War, where he got his license to practice law. But when practicing in Athens, he was left out of the photograph of his peers that hangs in the courthouse.
It's hard to look at my classroom and you see one black child first period, one black child seventh period. They have to feel like they're on an island. They have to feel so isolated. And then when it's old white guy history over and over and over and over again, where are they?
Athens middle school teacher Angela Hall took on this project after learning about Davison from an old friend. Her mission is to teach history that is inclusive to all her students.
I think that I wouldn't have learned as much about history of African American history and how important it is to recognize it.
The club members wrote a letter to the Athens County Courthouse proposing that Davison's picture should no longer be left out. And it is this portrait of Andrew Jackson Davison that'll hang in the Athens County Courthouse. A smaller version of the portrait will hang in the halls of Athens Middle School.
Me and a lot of other people haven't heard of him, so they're making it recognized throughout Athens and maybe some other places.
Davison is the first and only African American attorney to ever practice in Athens County. For WOUB News, I'm Andrea Robinson.
Another famous Ohioan is being honored as well, this time with a statue in the Ohio State House. Fans of the late astronaut and U.S. Senator John Glenn are working to bring a statue to the Ohio State House to mark major future milestones of his life. However, rules governing the State House grounds do not allow for the permanent placement of a person's statue until they have been dead for at least 25 years. Glenn passed away at the age of 95 in 2016. The $80,000 statue has been proposed to be temporarily placed on State House grounds beginning on what would be his 100th birthday in July of 2021, and then returning again in February of 2022 for the 60th anniversary of Glenn's orbital flight. Oil and gas is contributing to climate change more than researchers previously thought, how experts figured this out, and what they say needs to be done. Plus, a video you don't want to miss. How it was possible for this woman to play the violin in the middle of brain surgery. Those stories after the break. Stay with us. After 8 years in a federal prison, Rod Blagojevich is back home, and President Trump commuted the former Illinois governor's sentence Tuesday. Blagojevich spoke about his gratitude toward the president. Daryl Forges has more.
Rod Blagojevich coming out to cheers outside his Chicago home.
This is an act of kindness, and I also believe it's the beginning of the process to actually turn an injustice into a justice. I'm a Trumpocrat.
The former Illinois governor spoke to the press and supporters. Reflecting on his years behind bars, he is now calling for criminal justice reform.
As I move forward, I can take some of that experience that I've had and try to do what I can to try to improve what is a broken, and I believe in many cases, a corrupt criminal justice system.
Blagojevich was convicted on corruption charges, including his attempt to sell former President Barack Obama's Senate seat. The former governor was one of 11 convicted criminals granted clemency Tuesday by the president. After serving 8 years, Blagojevich still maintains his innocence.
From beginning to end, this was persecution masquerading as prosecution.
Illinois Republicans are upset about the commuted sentence. Patty Blagojevich defending her husband as protesters interrupted his speech.
Just ignore him.
But for now, Blagojevich is home. In Atlanta, I'm Daryl Forges reporting.
Shortly after Blagojevich finished his remarks, President Trump tweeted in support of the former governor, calling his conviction a, quote, Comey and gang deal, referring to former FBI Director James Comey, who Trump had previously fired. A new study has found that the production of oil and gas is contributing more to climate change than previously believed. The research indicates that methane emissions from fossil fuel sources are between 25 and 40% higher than previously estimated. Scientists measured a rare radioactive isotope to figure this out. Researchers say steps should be taken to reduce fossil fuel methane emissions, while the Trump administration is seeking to ease regulations. Awake brain surgery isn't something you only see on your favorite medical TV drama. This type of brain surgery occurs more than you think. And it happened in London at King's College Hospital as Dagmar Turner played her violin while undergoing surgery. This unique approach was taken to make sure that the surgery didn't impact her ability to play. Awake brain surgery has become a more common tool used by neurosurgeons in order to preserve a patient's brain function. As for Turner, her musical talent was not impaired following the surgery, and the 53-year-old has been discharged from the hospital and is recovering at home. Pickle-themed art for a pickle festival. After the break, how the tradition of making these decorations is more about the process than the finished product.
We'll talk about the sun to finish out the week, the rain that will begin your work week next week, and then we'll take a look at the work week ahead. But first, here's a look at stocks of local interest. Welcome to the News Watch Weather Center. I'm forecaster Michaela Gress. With the sunny conditions today, it has us wondering, how many days till spring? Well, the first day of the spring season starts on March 19th, so we're 29 days away until we get to see these beautiful cherry blossoms here on the campus of Ohio University. But let's take a look at where we are right now in Athens. We're looking at 35 degrees, partly cloudy conditions. It is a little cooler out there with those winds coming out of the north-northwest at 3 miles an hour. And taking a look across the region, we're seeing the lower 30s to the upper 30s for most of the viewing area. We're seeing 39 down in Ironton, 33 in New Lexington, and 32 up in Columbus with those partly cloudy conditions. And as we take a look at our precast right now, you just see these clouds laying over Illinois and Indiana into tonight and into tomorrow. They'll just breeze on by, giving us partly cloudy conditions for tomorrow. And then by tomorrow night, nice and clear skies for us here in the viewing area. Now, as we take a look at tonight across the region, we're seeing 20s for our lows for most of the area. We're seeing 26 in Ripley. Up in Newark, we're seeing 21 degrees, and over in Chillicothe, 23 with those partly cloudy conditions. And as we take a look at tonight in Athens, we're looking at 24 degrees, partly cloudy, colder evenings, so make sure to have that heavy winter jacket with you as those winds will be light and variable throughout the region. And as we're looking at our day-to-day planner for tomorrow, 8 a.m. we're looking at 25 degrees, cloudy conditions, but take a look at noon. We're going to see mostly cloudy and then dropping into partly cloudy as that system goes through our viewing area tomorrow. We're seeing 34 degrees, partly cloudy, but that sun will come out in the afternoon tomorrow, bringing a little bit of warmth for our area. And as we look at tomorrow across the region, we're seeing lower 30s to upper 30s for most of the viewing area. We're seeing 37 down in Ironton, 32 in New Lexington, but partly cloudy conditions for the area. And as we take a look at the 7-day forecast, we're seeing 34 degrees tomorrow. By Friday, we're seeing sunny conditions at 38 degrees. And for Saturday, we're looking at 48, still with that sunshine in there. And as we look at Sunday, that will be the highest temperature that we will reach for this next week at 52 degrees. And Monday, we're going to start off with that rain. So Spencer, we are able to put that umbrella away for right now, but taking a look into next week, we might have to bring it back out.
Yeah, I mean, you said it earlier, 29 days till spring is officially here, but hopefully, we'll see some of that warmer weather picking up here in Athens in the next few weeks, and we can get spring weather a few days early and be able to go outside and have some fun. Thank you, Michaela. In other news, Bagel Street Deli's annual Pickle Fest is about a month away. One organization is preparing in the only way they know how, with art and fun. WOUB's Zenobia Chris and Beth Greenman have more.
Artists and volunteers at PassionWorks are hard at work creating pickle-themed art for the Pickle Festival. Since 2013, Bagel Street Deli has hosted a pickle eating contest. This year's contest is on March 20th, and there is a $5 entry fee that will be donated to the charity of the winner's choice. For the past few years, PassionWorks has made their mark on the festival by making the awards and decorations for the event.
We really enjoyed last year making all this plushy art for them, and so we're going back into that this year.
The tradition of making decorations for the event originated when Bagel Street Deli asked them to make the awards. The items were a hit, and they have played a role in the festival ever since.
We have a tendency to go big or go home.
One artist remembers years past when he first started making decorations for the event.
Well, I remember on one Pickle Fest that they were making these little stuffed pickles, and they were asking me to paint on some of these pickles, which I did, of course.
Troy says he remembers first starting as an artist over a decade ago and is proud of how far the organization has come. Apart from support from the community, the real power of the organization is the 30 artists that work throughout the week. Each artist has a unique talent that they can apply to different projects. All of these talents combine to create the beauty that is PassionWorks. For WOUB, in Athens, I'm Zenobia Chris.
So the festivities kick off around 4 on Friday, March 20th. To sign up, there is a bulletin board in their store on Court Street, or email them for more information. Visit the Bagel Street Deli in Athens or on their Ohio Facebook page.
Hi there, I'm Joseph Hennessy, and coming up in sports after the break, I'll talk about some high school basketball playoff games. Plus, WOUB Sports Director Thomas Garvick joins us live at the Convocation Center.
Hey Joe, we're just minutes away from tip-off here inside the combo. The Ohio women's basketball team getting set to battle Toledo at the top of the hour. When Newswatch returns, I'll set the scene for you. But first, make sure you stay tuned with us here at WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Welcome back. I'm Joseph Hennessy. We are just minutes away from tip-off between the Ohio women's basketball team and Toledo. Sports Director Thomas Garvick is live from the combo as the Bobcats look to continue their strong play down the stretch and into the postseason. Ohio women's team looking pretty good right now. How's it looking there, Tommy?
Hey Joe, Ohio is playing their best basketball of the season at the right time as the MAC tournament is quickly approaching here. Ohio has lost just one game in the past month, largely due to the outstanding play of Erica Johnson, who was named MAC East Player of the Week for the 4th time yesterday. Johnson has followed up her MAC Freshman of the Year from a season ago with a sensational sophomore campaign. She's averaging 22 points and 8 boards a game in conference play, and she's most certainly in the conversation for the MAC first team and, quite frankly, MAC Player of the Year. But for Johnson, she and Ohio are just focused on sustaining their recent success again tonight as the Bobcats continue to fine-tune themselves for tournament play in a couple of weeks.
Sticking to our principles, moving the ball, and just staying locked in throughout the whole game. I mean, sometimes we go in spurts where we'll do really good, and then we'll be up by a lot, and then we'll let a team come back. So just staying locked in throughout the entire game and just trusting ourselves and focusing on us and not the outsiders, and that's been working for us.
And it's important to those who continue to fight. We've got to see.
And you hear right behind us, Lou, the PA announcer. It's pink out night for the basketball game. They're honoring all the survivors of breast cancer. It should be an emotional night inside the combo here, Joe. Ohio has a chance to win their 5th game in a row. They've won 7 of their last 8. Johnson, as I mentioned, she can score 20 points in her 5 straight games.
Yeah, and you mentioned that big game tonight, but how has it been throughout the month? I know it's not just Rebecca Johnson. They got big-time players on that team. What else have you seen
they've been
on the
outstanding.
past
CeCe
couple
Hooks
weeks?
has been special. Her and Erica are probably going to duke it out here for maybe MAC Player of the Year, first team. Should be a fun race, but until then, make sure you follow along with us on WAB's Bobcat Sports Showcase for post-game coverage and highlights. Reporting live from the combo for Newswatch, Thomas Garber, WAB Sports.
Yeah, thanks, Thomas. Ohio men's basketball chipped away at Central Michigan last night. They beat the Chippewas for the first time in the convo since 2014, 77-69. Jordan Dartis shot 7 of 12 from 3, leading all Bobcats with 27 points. Redshirt sophomore Ben Vanderplas added 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. Solid night for the 6'8" big man. And the NCAA leader in assists, Jason Preston, added 6 more to his total, bringing him to 198 on the year. He finished with 15 points and 6 boards as well. The Bobcats travel to Bowling Green on Saturday. And in high school hoops, it is getting heated. In playoff time, the number 6 Athens Bulldogs will take on the number 14 New Lexington Panthers Friday. Braden Markins dropped 22 and 10 last night for the Bulldogs. New Lex is coming off their upset win over number 3 Sheridan last night. Number 9 Vinton County takes on number 8 Warren tonight. WOUB Hardwood Heroes will be at that matchup. In D3, the 13-seeded Meigs Marauders play Portsmouth West tonight as well. And to D4 tonight, Eastern takes on Notre Dame. The winner of that game plays number 3 seeded Trimble next Wednesday. And Southern battles the Wildcats tonight. The winner goes on to play number 4 Federal Hocking next Wednesday as well. Lots of numbers thrown at you there, but it's playoff time. It's getting real fun right now. Alexander and Vinton County athletics are showing out in this postseason. In D2 Region 7, the number 4 seed Vinton County Lady Vikings take on the number 5 seed Uniono tomorrow in the sectional final. They are coming off their big win over Chillicothe, 71-39. And Division 3, the number 9 Alexander Lady Spartans battled the number 1 seed Winchester Eastern Lady Warriors in tomorrow's sectional final. Alexander is coming off a 13-point win against Colegrove. In the semifinals, Marley Grinstead scored 19 points, leading the way to the Spartans getting that W. And for recaps and previews of all those high school matchups, you can go to woub.org/heroes. Spencer, a lot of talent in this area in the OHSAA playoffs. It's getting real heated right now. It's a lot of fun.
There's just such a plethora of great teams in this region, so we're definitely going to see some exciting basketball during playoff season. I'm super pumped. Thank you, Joe. In other news, if you're having trouble paying for your medical bills, just go crowdfund it. A researcher group out of the University of Chicago has released a study that found close to 20 million people in the U.S. have used sites like GoFundMe to pay for medical bills. The study found that a further 50 million people have given money to crowdfunding campaigns for medical bills or treatment. GoFundMe has publicly stated that it is the leader of what they call the online global medical fundraising, hosting 250,000 such campaigns each year. Now let's take one last look at your weather with Michaela.
Thanks, Spencer. Taking a look at tomorrow in Athens, we're seeing 34 degrees. That sunshine will be out for most of the day tomorrow. So if you have any plans for your Thursday, make sure you plan to spend them outside. And as you take a look across the region, we're seeing the lower 20s to upper 30s for most of our viewing area. We're seeing 35 in Marietta, up in Cambridge, 31 degrees, and over in Chillicothe, we are also seeing 31 degrees. So overall, a very nice day out there tomorrow. And as we take a look at that 7-day forecast, we're seeing 34 degrees in Athens, as I said, tomorrow. Taking a look at Friday, we're seeing 38 degrees with that sunshine coming back in the forecast. For Saturday, we're looking at 48 degrees. And if you have any fun plans, such as Pickle Fest this weekend, it's going to be a very beautiful weekend out there this weekend. And as you take a look at Monday, crank back out those umbrellas because it will be 46 degrees with a 75% chance of rain. And it'll be rain to start out the work week.
Thank you, Michaela. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Spencer Charlton. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.
It's not even Thanksgiving yet, but schools in Ohio are already having snow days.
Plus, across the country, people are bundling up as low temperatures are breaking records. And in sports, the Ohio football team plays its final home game tonight against Western Michigan. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening and welcome to Newswatch, your source for all news out of southeastern Ohio. I'm Anna Azalian. Thank you for joining us. The weather today in the region looks more like January than November. This is College Green at Ohio University in Athens this afternoon. The snow fell overnight and into this morning, and temperatures dropped across Ohio. Some of that sticking to the ground, as you can see there. But the snow didn't just come down in Athens. This video was taken near Cincinnati. Ohio's Department of Transportation says crews have been clearing and treating roads around the state as temperatures continue to fall. In central Ohio, dozens of schools canceled or delayed classes because of snow and near recorded low temperatures. Roads are still icy in portions of southern and central Ohio, but the heaviest accumulations are expected to happen near Cleveland. And in Kentucky, state police are offering drivers tips to stay safe on the roads. In a post on Facebook yesterday, police recommended you should allow for more time to get places, make sure your windows and mirrors are completely cleared, and not to use cruise control. Now let's head over to WOUB forecaster Alyssa Lanier to see what the rest of the week is looking like.
Students, the community, and law enforcement are all speaking up. Well, tweeting about a string of recent sexual assault reports. Students in Greek life were the first to take a stand by hanging banners.
Kirsten Hanna tweeted photos and her support, saying Ohio Panhellenic is standing up and standing together.
And the Interfraternity Council had a similar post. It featured fraternity houses with banners that read, "Stand with survivors." All of these banners have been met with positive reactions online.
June says she's a survivor who withdrew from OU because of sexual assault on campus. She said in a tweet, "The student body standing together and speaking out makes me so happy, especially in such a bold and powerful way."
And as more and more reports came in, the Ohio University Police Department's tweets have been trying to show what they're doing to combat the culture.
Saying our officers patrol campus on foot, in cars, and on bikes. And another saying that officers are focusing on residential areas. And then ending the tweet with, "Don't be afraid to call us."
Some bars on Court Street are also getting in on the conversation. The Overhang tweeted a photo of their staff saying they're here to help anyone who needs it and to be a safe place for every Bobcat. For WOUB, I'm Elise Hammond.
I was glad to see a lot of people come out despite the rain. I think this year it wasn't as big as last year. Lots of things that are happening that need to be talked about. So yes, this affects me, but I'm here for other people as well.